What is up, guys? It's Vlad here, and today we will be going over my Rainbow Cup tournament that I played this past weekend. It was a Mirror Cup, specifically a Rainbow type one, and we did well. So I'm going to be going over the matches here. I recorded all six of them, and I will start off by introducing my team. So I played a couple Rainbow Cups before. Well, a lot, really. I played about like 7 or 8 cups before. I did decent in most of them, and I did bad in some of them. Now, I've played pretty much the same Pokemon in all the other cups. The differences I did make for this one was I changed my Lapras from an Ice Beam Lapras to a Skull Bash one. So I'm running Skull Bash and Surf, and I also brought back Ninetales, which I've played in the past, but I haven't done that well with it. So I brought him back. Um, I'm running Lantern also, Venusaur, Quagsire, and Fortress. Now, we're going to be going into more detail here. So my Quagsire, I'm running a Mudshot, Stone Edge, and Earthquake one. I've ran Acid Spray before, which has worked for me, but I just decided to run Earthquake just to take care of those Lanterns and to have that advantage in the mirror. Lantern here, I'm running a Charge Beam one. Now I know Water Gun does do a lot more raw damage, but I just find that Charge Beam gets those charge moves faster, and he serves as my Electric. So right here, you can see a Lapras. I'm running the Skull Bash variant. Now I tried him out in practice. I did not really like him that much, but he ended up doing really well for me here. Just one of my MVPs. And he's probably my favorite Pokemon in this Rainbow Cup. Now we're going to be going over Ninetales right here. I'm running a Fire Spin, Solar Beam, and Psyshock one. Unfortunately, I do not have a Legacy one, but really, I mean, Ninetales is just, he's way good. He's just awesome. Fortress right here. I'm running Bug Bite, Earthquake, and Rock Tomb. And believe it or not, I did not play him for a single match in the whole tournament. I have Venusaur. I'm running a Vine Whip one. I debated long and hard on running Razor Leaf, but I just ended up going Vine Whip. And yeah, it's going to be my team of 6. Pretty solid. I'm not running any fires. In the past cups, I did pretty well running 4 waters. I took Mantine out just because I did not like running them that much. I did not know how to play them, maybe. I think is the case. So, yeah. I'd say Lapras and Ninetales were my MVPs of this tournament. Just really liked them. I played a lot of Venusaur too, and some Quagsire. Lantern and Fortress were the ones that I played the least. And let's get to those matches. So, my first opponent right here, his name is Ale Javier. He's going to be running Quagsire, Ninetales, Victreebel, Magneton, Fortress, and Blastoise. So I really like Quagsire for this matchup. And for the first game, I'm going to start out Ninetales, and he's going to start out Quagsire, speaking of. So not a very good matchup for us. I believe we try to farm here before we dip. Why not? I believe, if I remember correctly, that we decide to stay in this match, so I'm going to go for a Psyshock right here. Does a decent amount of damage. But that Quagsire is just going to have the upper hand in this match. Now, you see, I thought about switching, but I just decided to stay. He's going to go for the Stone Edge. We're not going to block that. And we're going to bring out our Venusaur right here, which is going to farm a little bit before he brings in our Ninetales. But we're going to have that Quagsire in the back. This is a very good matchup for us. Similar matchup to the one we started off with. He's going to go for a Psyshock here. I'm probably not going to shield any of these. I'm going to get that first Stone Edge off right here. Getting that excellent hit. He decides to block. So it's an okay call by him. He's going to get another Psyshock here. Now the only thing we have to worry about here is that Solar Beam. He gets that Psyshock. We let it go through. We're going to charge a little bit of energy before we get to this Stone Edge right here. And he decides to block again. Very interesting, because we do get another Stone Edge off, and he's got no shield. So this is going to be bye-bye to that Ninetales. Let's see what he's got in the back. We know he has that Quagsire. So there's the Quagsire. We have that Venusaur. Now we get a little bit of lag here. I decided to not say anything because honestly I thought I had the upper hand. He gets Stone Edge. And we're forced to go for that Frenzy Plant right here. Maybe if we would have gotten a couple of Vine Whips, it would have been a different story. We get that Quagsire out of there, and he's got that Fortress in the back, guys. So there's not much we can do here. Now Venusaur he can defend himself if he has a bunch of energy, just to get those Frenzy Plants off. But there's not much we can do here. Even with a shield, that Fortress is gonna mow us down. So he's gonna get game 1 right here. And we're gonna have to get back to the drawing board, see what we can do different here. So as I said before, I like that Quagsire for this matchup. He's got that Magneton, the Fortress, and Ninetales, and the Quagsire, which that's what Earthquake is handy for in this matchup. I believe I decided to stick to the same 3, so I'm going to be running Ninetales, Quagsire, and Venusaur as my core 3. I don't really like Lapras here, mostly because of that Victory Bell. Razor Leaf just shreds through Lapras, so it's not going to be a very winning matchup for Lapras. And that Fortress. Oh, I'm sorry, no, the Lapras does fine against Fortress. So for game number 2, we decided to start out with Ninetales again, and he brings out that Victory Bell. We just had a hunch he was going to bring out that Victory Bell. So we switched to the Quagsire, and we quickly switched to that Venusaur. Now, this is a very good matchup for us. The only thing we have to watch out for here is the Earthquake. So he goes to that Stone Edge, we block it, we're going to farm a little bit, and we go for that Frenzy Attack. Just because we did not want him to get another Stone Edge right here. So down goes that Quagsire. We know he's got that Victory Bell on the back, and he brings out Ninetales. So we're going to farm a little bit before we go for that Sludge Bomb right here. We're going to get this Sludge Bomb off, which he blocks. We're even on shields right now. We get to that Frenzy Plant. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to do a good amount, a good chunk. So he blocks it. I don't know if that's the right call by him. And right here, another questionable call. He could have farmed me. So he goes for that Shy Shock, gets Venusaur out of there, but we have that Quagsire in the back. We're going to be putting a lot of pressure on this Ninetales. He gets a charge attack, which we thought was Solar Beam, so I decide to block right there. He switches into his Victory Bell, but we have our own Ninetales in the back with a Side Shock. So this is going to take care of that Victory Bell. Down goes that Victory Bell, and he's going to have that Ninetales in the back, but we have our Ninetales and the Quagsire in the back. So we're looking pretty good right here. Now, I knew he was going to bring out that Victory Bell. He did not bring it out in game number 1. And he decided to bring it out for game 2, which I read pretty nicely. He's going to be able to farm us down right here, but we have a Stone Edge in the back. So this is going to take care of that Ninetales, and it's going to get us that game number 2. We're going to move on to game number 3 right here. Now, the set of 3 right here has been working out very nicely for us, so I believe I decided to stick with the same 3 Pokemon. I'm just going to switch up the order. So he started off with Quagsire and then a Victory Bell. Let's see what he brings out for this third one. So I'm going to start out with Venusaur. Bring out that Venusaur and he gets a Quagsire. So we guess again, guys. This is looking pretty good for us right here. He switches onto the Ninetales, but we have that Quagsire. So Quagsire is just going to be able to do some work here against that Ninetales. He has not showed us his second attack, so we think he's got that Solar Beam. He goes for his Side Shock. We're going to get to our Stone Edge right here. We don't have to go for Earthquakes. He blocks our Stone Edge. We have not wasted a shield yet. Let's see if we're able to get to that second one. Not before he gets his another Side Shock here. We're going to take it, leaving us in the red zone, but we get to our Stone Edge. Let's see if he decides to waste both shields on that Ninetales. He does. Interesting. So he wastes both shields on that Ninetales. We're almost to that Stone Edge right here, so we decide to block this just so we're able to get to that Stone Edge. We're going to get to that Stone Edge right here. Down goes the Ninetales. Let's see what he's got. He brings out Fortress. So down goes the Quagsire, and we're going to be able to bring out Ninetales right here. Looking pretty good right here. We can just farm this Fortress down. We have a shield left. He brings out Quagsire. We bring out Venusaur. So it's looking very good for us right here. He's got no shields left. We have a shield left. Down goes the Quagsire with that Frenzy Plant. He brings out that Fortress. But remember, we have that Ninetales in the back. So he gets off an Earthquake. I would have probably tried to farm this Venusaur down. And our last Pokemon is going to be that Ninetales. So this Shy Shock should win us that match. And advance us to round number 2. So as you can see, we played 3 Pokemon right there for all the matches. I mean, I think it was really the only option we had because the other Pokemon just weren't very good matchups. So game number 2 right here is going to be against Arepa Master. He's one of the better players here in Santiago, Chile. He's also a friend of mine. And as you can see, he's also running a Lapras. The only change on our team is that Fire type. So we're running Ninetales and he's going to be running that Charizard. What I do want to know here is what set that Lapras has. So we're running a Skull Bash run. Nobody knows this yet. I did train with a couple of friends that are playing in this tournament. But Arepa Master does not know we're running that Skull Bash. So we start out Lapras, he starts out Quagsire. So we don't really have to use Skull Bash right here. We're just going to try to drown out that Quagsire with a bunch of surfs. We're going to get to that first surf right here. He's going to block it. Interesting play right there. He's going to get to his Stone Edge right here, which we're going to block. We're forced or else that's going to do a lot of damage. And seeing as he wasted his shield, I have no problem wasting mine. So we're going to go for another surf right here. Putting that pressure on that Quagsire. He does not shield that one. And let's see if we're able to get to this. Oh, we're not. So he's going to get another Stone Edge and we decide to take it. Let's see if we survive. Yep. We barely survive right here. We're able to get to this third surf, which should get Quagsire out of there. Unless he decides to shield right here. So yes, he decides to shield. And he switches into that Fortress. But we bring out our Ninetales right here. So this is a very formidable match right here. We don't have to waste any charge attacks. He's going to get to his charge move, but we have a shield. So we're going to shield this, and we're going to load up that Ninetales with energy. Remember, he's got that Lapras in the back with, that Quagsire with very, very little health. He brings out Charizard, so we're going to Side Shock right here. We have about 2 Side Shocks charged up, so we're going to do fine right here. We get the first one, and we're going to get the second one right here. This is going to, if it's not going to kill it, it's going to get very close. So, yep. Oh, no, he doesn't. He survives that second Side Shock, and he's going to get off a charge attack. He's going to get off a Dragon Claw on us. But we down that Charizard on fast moves, and he's going to have that Quagsire with a Stone Edge right here. So, down goes our Ninetales. But we have that Venusaur in the back. So, it's a pretty safely won victory right there. We're going to move on to game number 2. Let's see if he decides to switch anything up right here. So we ran Lapras, Venusaur, and Ninetales right there. We're going to start out with Ninetales for this match. And we're going to bring out Venusaur and Lantern. We're going to bring out that Lantern because it does have a very good matchup against that Lapras. But then again, Lapras can defend himself if he's got Skull Bash, or even Dragon Pulse, I think. So we're waiting for our opponent to start. We're going to be starting out with that Ninetales. We're going to have Lantern and Venusaur in the back. So hopefully he's going to be bringing out that Fortress or that Venusaur to start off. We get Ninetales in there, and he brings out Lapras. So this is not a very good match for us, especially because Lapras is just going to be able to farm and dish out those surfs so quick. So he's going to get to that first surf. We decide not to shield, but it's going to do a heavy amount of damage right here. So the only thing we can do is you can try to get to that Solar Beam, or just put some pressure on with those Side Shocks. So we get out the first Side Shock right here. It's not going to do a lot. And let's see if we can get to the second one. He gets to that surf before, so we're just going to be forced to take this. And we're going to bring out our Lantern right here, which is a hard counter now. Let's see what he has on that Lapras. If it's an Ice Beam one, there's not much Lapras can do. It's a Dragon Pulse, guys. So it's not very good for us, but we are going to be able to farm this down. I don't believe he's going to be able to get to another Dragon Pulse. So we farm down that Lapras. Let's see what he brings out. He brings out Quagsire. So we're going to go for a Hydro Pump right here. And see if we can waste the shield. He blocks it. Interesting. So we switch to our Venusaur. And he immediately switches into that Fortress. So now we're trapped into that Fortress with not many options right here. It's not looking good. So we get that first Frenzy Plant. Now, like I said before, Venusaur, it's a terrible matchup against that Fortress. But if Venusaur has a bunch of energy stored up, he's able to do some damage to that fortress. So we get him into that yellow, but he's going to get a charge attack right here. And we decide to put up a shield just so we can put some more pressure with those frenzy plants. We farm a little bit before we get to this frenzy plant. Now let's see if he blocks us. It's not going to kill him, but it's going to get him down to very little health. So he's down to the red zone. Oh, and I think that was a mistake right there. I could have farmed him. I could have sent off a frenzy plant. He gets off a heavy slam here, and we're going to get to our frenzy plant. He blocks it, and we immediately switch out to that lantern. And he's got that Quasar in the back, so there's not much we can do here. He can take us out with a Stone Edge right here. But he goes for an Earthquake. We have that Venusaur in the back, but it's not enough. So he wins game number 2. We now know he has a Dragon Pulse Lapras. He does not know we're running a Skull Bash one. So for game number 3, I decide to place Skull Bash Lapras. If I start out Venusaur, he starts out Quagsire. So very good lead for us right here. He's going to be forced to switch. So he immediately switches into Lapras. Now, we're going to get off a Frenzy Plant, and we're immediately going to get out of there. It's not a very good matchup for Venusaur, but he cannot afford to take those Frenzy Plants. So we bring out our own Lapras, and we're going to show him what Skull Bash is all about right here. He gets a Dragon Pulse off, doesn't do a lot. We're racing for that Skull Bash. We know he's not going to shield. We're going to get to the Skull Bash, so see how much damage it does. Oh, it does a hefty amount, and we get that defense boost. So right now, we're good to go with Lapras. He gets that Dragon Pulse, but with that defense boost, you can see it just does not a lot of damage to that Dragon Pulse. Oh, but he gets another charge move, so we're going to be forced to shield right here. We block that Surf. Let's see what he's got on the back. He's got that Quagsire. So we get another Skull Bash. Let's see if he's going to decide to block this. We're going to... Oh, he does not block it. And look at that damage that does. So we have 2 defense boosts right here, and we're able to get to this Surf. Lapras with defense boost, it's so tanky. So we're going to try to get to another Surf right here. He's forced to use a charge attack right here. Goes for the Stone Edge, we let our Lapras go down, and we have Venusaur and Ninetales in the back. So we get that Quagsire out of there with the Venusaur. That Lapras was pretty much dead, and let's see what he's got on the back of Venusaur. So we're looking pretty good right here, guys. We have that Ninetales in the back. We lag a little bit. We have that Ninetales in the back. We have a shield here, and we have energy advantage right here. So we go for that first Sludge Bomb. Let's see if he's going to try to bait the shields right here. We believe he does, so I don't shield this. Yep, so he goes for that shield bait. We don't take it, and now we're just going to finish him off with a Sludge Bomb right here. Ooh, so the first 2 games, the matches go to game 3. We get lucky with those leads in the third games for each one of them. So we're going to move on to round number 3. We're up 2-0 right now. That's Skull Bash Lapras. Really won us that third match right there. Once he gets that defense boost going, man, he's pretty much unstoppable. So my third opponent is Tomas MF1414. He's one of the event organizers for this one, and I've played against him before in previous tournaments, and he's got the better of me. He's gotten the better of me. We start a Quagsire Mirror right here. That's why we have that Earthquake. We're going to try to bait a shield right here with a Stone Edge, and he takes the bait. He's going to get to his charge attack, and I believe we shield it correctly because it is an Earthquake, and we're going to go for our own Earthquake right here. Let's see if he decides to block this one. He does not, but he's able to get to another charge attack, which is most likely going to be an Earthquake. Yep. Oh, and we take it, and it's going to be a Kamikaze right there. So I have Lapras and Venusaur in the back, and I decide to bring out Venusaur just because I know that Lapras is going to be a pretty safe switching. So he also brings out Venusaur, and he immediately switches into that Mantine, but we have that Lapras in the back. So Lapras against Mantine has nothing to worry about really. Those Aerial Aces, are probably the best options for that Mantine, but they're not going to be doing much. So we go for Skull Bash right here. He does not shield it, and it does a hefty amount of damage right there. He's going to be able to get to another aerial ace right here. We decide to take it. With that defense boost, we have no trouble taking those. So he brings out that Venusaur, and we go for another Skull Bash right here. Let's see, he decides to block it. He does block it. We get another defense boost, and we're just able to get like 2 or 3 ice shards right there. So we bring out our own Venusaur, but we have shield. We have 1 shield, so he's going to bait that shield. We don't take the bait. We're going to go. Oh, he gets another charge move, so we're going to be forced to use a shield right here, thinking it's going to be a Sludge Bomb, but he does get us with that bait. But we're going to get our own Sludge Bomb right here. So down goes that Venusaur. We get game number 1. Let's see if he makes any adjustments for that second game. So he's running Venusaur, Charizard, Lantern, Mantine, Fortress, and Quagsire. That Mantine can give us issues, but as long as we have that Lapras, we're going to be able to handle that. We start off game number 2 with Quagsire, and he brings out that Mantine. So we read that correctly. Let's see, I could charge a little bit more before I get to that Stone Edge, just in case he does decide to switch. He does not, so we go for the Stone Edge, he blocks it. He's going to get a charge attack off right here. And I believe the only thing that really does a decent amount of damage to that Quagsire are those Ice Beams. So that's the only thing we have to watch out for. He gets another Stone Edge, which he does not block, and he's able to get to another charge attack. So we think it's going to be an Ice Beam right here, which it is, and we bring up our shield. So very nicely read right there. We're able to get to another Stone Edge right here. And down goes that Mantine. Let's see what he got in the back. He brings out Venusaur. Are we able to get to that? Nope, we do not get to that Stone Edge. So we bring out our own Venusaur right here. We have Lantern in the back. We're going to try to bait a shield right here with a Frenzy Plant. See if he takes it. Yep, he takes that bait. He's going to get his own charge attack right here. And we decide to block it. Smelling the Sludge Bomb. We read that correctly. And now we're just racing to that Sludge Bomb. He beats the charge move. He gets off his own Sludge Bomb. So we're able to get to the Sludge Bomb right here. Does not take him down, but it does get him to the red. But he beats me to that Frenzy Plant. So we have that Lantern in the back, and the only problem is we're running a Charge Beam one. So we're not going to be able to dish out any amount of damage, but it does not matter because he's got that Quagsire in the back. So very well played by him. There's nothing we can do here. And that's one of the disadvantages of running that Charge Beam Lantern. Just in terms of neutral damage, that Charge Beam does not do a lot. So for game number 3, we're going to be calling up on an old friend right here. We're going to be going with Ninetales, Venusaur, and then Lapras. Now the reason I brought Quagsire was for that Mantine, but if we're running Lapras, we're going to do okay. So we read that lead. He brings out Venusaur, we have that Ninetales. He immediately switches out to that Mantine, and we switch to our Lapras. So we're going to be able to get to that charge attack right here. And right here, I make a very dumb move. I go for a Surf. I don't know why I did not want to do this. And at this point, I was just kicking myself over the head right here. So right now, we're just going to try to race to that Skull Bash. We're not going to take this. I mean, we are going to take it. We're not going to put up the shield. We're racing to that Skull Bash. And at this point, I was in deep trouble. So we're forced to shield right here. We get to the Skull Bash, but it might be a little too late. Let's see if he decides to shield. Nope. So he lets that Mantine go down. We get the defense boost. Brings out Venusaur. Down goes that Lapras. We have that Ninetales though for that Venusaur with a little bit of energy. Forcing a shield. He brings out his Quagsire, but we have that Venusaur. So although things were looking a bit grim back there, we're able to take advantage, but we take that Earthquake, guys. We take that Earthquake, which we probably should have blocked, because he does have a shield left. Oh, but he does not decide to use it on that Quasar. So he has that Venusaur in the back. Gets us out of the way, but we have that Ninetales. So what really won us this match right here was team composition. And that lead. Winning that lead was critical. But as soon as I went for that surf with that Lapras, man, I was just kicking myself over the head right there. Not very well played by our part, but we do get the victory, which is what matters. So we're looking pretty right here. All three of those matches have gone to game number 3, guys. I mean, they're all nail biters. I'm so nervous at this point. We're doing fine, but it's very close games up to this point. So for game number 4, we're going to be going up against Decoupay. He's also a friend that I have on. We have a WhatsApp group where it's just a bunch of us trainers that do PvP. I have not trained against him before, but as you can see, he's running that Meganium and Slowbro. Very interesting. Now, in terms of Slowbro, the only counter I really have is going to be that Lantern and that Fortress. We start out with Lapras, he brings out Fortress. So it's an okay matchup. The objective here would be to drown out that Fortress on Surfs alone, because those Skull Bashers are not going to be doing a lot of damage to them. I mean, it is, but I mean, it's just better to Surf this guy out. So he's going to be able to get to that charge move. Fearing it's going to be a Rock Tomb. Well, I guess we're pretty bold right there. We don't shield. We're going to farm a little bit before going for this second surf right here. Let's see if it decides to shield this. We do force a shield. Are we able to get to another one? Nope. So we bring out Ninetales. We get that Fortress out of the way, but not before he's able to get to our charge move. So we're forced to shield this right here. We shield that Rock Tomb. Down goes the Fortress, and let's see what he's got in the back. He brings out Quagsire, so we're going to switch out right here into that Venusaur, but he immediately switches into Slowbro. Man, so we have to race for those frenzy points right here. But it is not a very good matchup for that Venusaur. Those Confusions are going to be doing a lot of damage. And as you can see, he's able to get to that charge move. We're just going to let this one go through. And the only option right here is to try to farm as much as this Slowbro down with that Ninetales in order to get to that Solar Beam for that next Pokemon, for that Quagsire he's got in the back. So he goes for that Ice Beam, and I believe I did not have to shield that. So we farm a little bit, we go for this Psyshock, and let's see if it's going to be enough for that Quagsire. Oh, but as you can see, we're about 2 or 3 hits away from that Solar Beam, and he has that Stone Edge ready to go. So he's going to be taking game number 1 right here, and let's see what adjustments we make. So that Slowbro did give us some issues right there. We're also looking at that Meganium. Let's see if he decides to bring it out for game number 2. But we have to do something about that Slowbro. Now the only hard counters I have is Lantern and Fortress. So for this game number 2, we're going to be starting out with Ninetales. Then we're going to have that Venusaur and Lapras in the back. Let's see if he decides to start out with Fortress. So he does. He starts out Fortress. We're looking pretty good right here. He immediately switches out into that Quagsire. We're going to switch out into Venusaur. So very good right now. We're just going to have to watch out for those Earthquakes. And we take it. Now we've done a terrible job right there of shielding those Earthquakes. So immediately Venusaur is in trouble right here. We get to this Frenzy Plant, but he's going to shield right here. And man, it's just a bad call on my part. So that Quagsire is going to be able to get to another charge move. We bring out Lapras, which is going to be forced to shield right here. Gets another Earthquake. We're going to farm a little bit. Let's see what he's got in the back. So here's that Fortress. And, well, he brings out Fortress. So we're going to go for a Skull Bash right here. just because we have that fresh Lapras and we want to get to those defense boosts. Now, as you can see, Surf does about the same amount of damage. So we get defense boost, and we're going all in on Lapras. We waste both shields right here. We block that Rock Tomb. We're going to farm a little bit before we get this Surf off. I thought about switching, but we get to this Surf right here. So down goes that Fortress, and he's got Slowbro in the back. So we're going to be able to get to another Skull Bash right here. Let's see if he decides to block this. He doesn't, and look how much damage that does. So Lapras right here, he's double boosted, and we're going to be able to get to another Surf, but not before he gets his charge move. So he gets an Ice Beam, and look at that, we tank that Ice Beam. And we're able to get to another Surf right here. He shields, but we have that Ninetales in the back with a Sunshock. So that lap is just so tanky, especially after those defense boosts. And really the only thing we have to watch out for against that Slowbro is that Psychic. So for game number 3, we decided to run the same exact lineup, starting off Ninetales, and we're going to have that Venusaur and Lapras in the back. So we start at Ninetales, and he starts out Fortress again, guys. So very ballsy on both parts, really. It just worked out for us. So he brings out Slowbro, and we're going to counter with that Lapras. Now he knows how much Skull Bash does, so it's interesting to see if he decides to shield this. So he goes for that Psychic, we shield right there, and we're just racing for that Skull Bash. We get to it, TV decides to block it, and he does. But we get that defense boost, so we're trying to get to this second Skull Bash, but not before he gets to another charge move, and again, we go double shield on Lapras right here, and we get to that Surf, just to force that, just to put some pressure onto that Slowbro. As you can see, those Surfs do not do a lot of damage right here, but we're able to get to another Surf. So let's see if he blocks this right here. He does not. That Slowbro goes down. And let's see what he's got. He's got shield advantage right now. So he brings out Fortress, but we're able to get to another Surf. So we get the Surf onto that Fortress, which he blocks. Very interesting. So down goes the Lapras. Now we have Ninetales and Venusaur right here. But he's got some energy charged up. So he's going to be able to get to this Rock Tomb right here, where we don't have any shields. And Ninetales is able to survive that. He switches onto that Quagsire, and we immediately switch onto that Venusaur. So he's going to get to Stornage right here. And do a hefty amount of damage, but we're able to get to our Frenzy Plant. So we farm a little bit before we get to it. We get that Quagsire out of the way. And that Fortress, going to be an issue here. But we get to a Frenzy Plant right here. So it's not so terrible. We get to that Frenzy Plant, but that Fortress has farmed some energy up. But we're going to be able to bring out Ninetales with a sliver of health and the Psyshock ready to go. Whew. So we take this game number 3 once again. Very well played on both parts. So I was just shaking at this point. All my nerves were shot. Those are some incredible matches right there. So I go and congratulate him. That really could have gone either way. And man, I mean, just after this match, all my nerves are just out the window. Very well contested right there. So for game number 5, we're going to be going up against Grias. He's an ace at this point. We decide to lead Ninetales, and he leads Fortress. So that's that 4th lead we start with Ninetales, and that 4th time our opponent goes for that Fortress. So he switches onto that Lantern, and again, I mean, not again, but here we make the mistake of bringing out Lapras. This is not a very good matchup for Lapras. So we take that first Thunderbolt, and we're going to be, our only option right here is just to get that Skull Bash. He does not know we're running Skull Bash. So we're going to be able to get this. He does not shield. Man, that just does a lot of damage. Yeah, we're able to get to the Surf before him, guys. We're able to get to that Surf before he gets that Thunderbolt. And he shields. So that Lapras, even though it was not the best of matchups, he was able to to do some work right there. So he gets that Hydro Pump onto our Venusaur right here. We still have both of our shields. He brings out his Venusaur, but we immediately switch onto our Ninetales, which has a Psyshock ready to go. He's forced to block it right here. We get another one off. I'm just going to hit him clean to the face right here. So he's going to get his charge move off, and we decide to block it because we know he has that Fortress in the back. So we block that Frenzy Plant. He switches onto that Fortress, which has a charge move ready, but we have a shield left. So we're going to shield this Heavy Slam, and we're just going to get that Fortress down on fast attacks alone, and we have a Psyshock ready to go for this Venusaur. So we're going to be taking game number 1 right there. That Ninetales, man, it's done some work. So for game number 2, we had a hunch he was going to bring on that Mantine. So we decided to start Lapras. Not a lot of times I start out with Lapras, but he is a pretty good lead in terms of doesn't have a lot of counters. That Lantern is the only thing we have to worry about. So he does. He starts out with Mantine. We're looking good right here. We don't really have to block any of these charge moves. And we're just racing to that Skull Bash. So he's going to get that first Aerial Ace right here. And we're just going to eat as many of those as we want. We're going to get to that Skull Bash right here. See if he decides to block. He does not, so he takes that Skull Bash. We get that defense boost. He gets another Aerial Ace though. But as you can see, with that defense boost, we have nothing to worry about. So we're going to get this Mantine out of the way. And let's see if we get to this second Skull Bash. So he brings out Venusaur, and we're just going to go for this, straight for the Surf. He is going to be able to do a good amount of, a decent amount of damage. And we do force a shield. So we bring out Ninetales. He's going to be able to get to Frenzy Plant or Sludge Bomb right here. A Frenzy Plant, very good shield bait by him. And we're just going to try to farm him down at this point. So we decide to block right here. It's another Frenzy Plant. He brings out Lantern, but we have that Venusaur in the back. So we're looking very good at this point right here. We get to that Frenzy Plant. He blocks it. Let's see if he's able to get to that Hydro Pump right here. We take that Hydro Pump to the face. But we're going to be able to get to this Frenzy Plant right here. So he does have Venusaur in the back, but we have Ninetales right behind this Venusaur. So we're able to beat him to that Frenzy Plant. And I guess his only option was to try to beat us on fast attacks, just so we could have a Sludge Bomb for that Ninetales in the back. But we get game number 2 right here. So it's the first time we do not have to go to game number 3, and we're moving on to round number 6. With a chance to go undefeated. Man. So game number 6 is going to be against another friend of mine, Hirutsu. He's also one of the better trainers here in Santiago, Chile. I think he might be top 10, top 15. We have played against him before, and again, he's gotten our number. That Raichu has been a problem for us in the past, as has that Mantine. So for game number 1, let's see what we're going to be starting out with. We decided to go for Venusaur, thinking he might start out with that Raichu, like he's done in the past. So we're going to go, I believe it was Venusaur, Quagsire. Was that a Lapras in the back? Or a Ninetales? I think it was a Lapras. So we're just waiting on our opponent here to start. We send out Venusaur, and he sends out that Raichu, guys. So this is all about the shield baits right here. So he's going to be forced to shield, but we're not going to be necessarily. So he's going to get that first attack. It's a wild charge. We take it straight to the face. We're going to charge a little bit before we get to our Frenzy Plant right here. And he's going to be forced to shield right here. So he shields his first Frenzy Plant. He gets another charge move, but we smell that Thunder Punch. So he gets his Thunder Punch. We do not block it, and we get to the Frenzy Plant, which should be taking down this Raichu. So down goes that Raichu. We immediately switch out onto that Lapras, knowing it's going to be a safe switch. Brings in Mantine, and he decides to switch for that Quagsire. But we have some energy for this Skull Bash right here. So we're going to get this Skull Bash onto that Quagsire, and look at that, guys. It just does so much damage. And you get the defense boost. So we decide to shield right here with that Lapras, knowing he already has a boost. We have another shield, and we're going to be able to farm that Quagsire down. In comes the Mantine. But with that defense boost, Mantine is just not going to be a problem for this Lapras. So we get to another Skull Bash. And round number 1 is looking very good for us right here, guys. Not a lot Mantine can do right here. We decide to shield this, whatever comes our way, Aerial Ace. And now it's just going to be a slow death via Surfs right here. A slow and torturous death right here. Because that Lapras doesn't take much from that Mantine. So we get another Surf right here. And I just decided to fast forward that because we know the end of that story. So for game number 2 right here, game number 1, it started out Venusaur. For game number 2 here, I believe I decided to go for Lapras, knowing he does not really have an answer for that Lapras. The only thing he has for Lapras is Raichu. But we confronted that Raichu in game number 1 with our Venusaur. So I thought that Lapras was going to be the answer right here. And if you play Shields on Lapras against that Raichu, he's going to be able to take care of it. Not the best ideal situation, but just thought Lapras was the best option right here. So we start at Lapras, he starts out Venusaur. So we're fine right here. We're comfortable with this matchup. We're going to have to shield those Frenzy Plants though. So he gets a Frenzy Plant, and we're forced to put up our shield. Now we don't have to go for a Skull Bash here. Those Ice Shards just do so much damage that you can just take down Venusaur on Surfs alone. So we go for that first Surf, and he blocks it. And we beat him to the punch for that second charge move. We're going to get a Surf right here. Let's see if he blocks it. He does not. So that Venusaur goes down. We're even on shields right now. He brings out that Fortress, and we're just going to try to drown him out right here with whatever health we have. So we get to the Surf. Let's see if he blocks it. He does not. Are we going to be able to get to another one right here? Nope. So he decides to use his charge attack just in fear of getting surfed again. He goes for that Rock Tomb. Down goes the Lapras. But we have that Quagsire. So we get the Switch Bug right here. Now we get a little scared, but we're not too worried. He switches onto that Quagsire, and we counter right back with our Venusaur. So things are looking good right here, guys. He gets to that Stone Edge, where we're just going to block this comfortably. We're going to farm a little bit before we get to that Frenzy Plant right here. He blocks it. He's going to be able to get some charge move right here, though, but we're looking pretty. He gets that Earthquake. And with the skin of our teeth, we're able to get to another Frenzy Plant. So down goes that Quagsire. We try to switch, but we can't. And we're going to get this winning Stone Edge right here, guys. So down goes the Fortress, and that concludes our tournament right there. What was the standing at this point? Wow, that's my first undefeated tournament. And yeah, just congratulations to my opponent. Also, very well played. And thanks, guys. Really, just thank you.